silence, stillness, and the present moment. I'm just going to focus on those three things because in my own practice, these three elements have had the most impact in my like I said, my own practice. And there are people who like to listen to music when they meditate. And again, I don't say no to anything. Whatever works, you know. But I'm going to share with you what I feel, why I feel silence is important, and why I feel stillness is important, and focusing on on the present moment and why that's important as well. So, so I know first off that silence helps us to withdraw from the noise of the outside world, right? And the reason this is so important is that we don't get a lot of it, and it's really, really important for our psyche to have nothing going on, no noise going on. It's important for us to have that time where there isn't anything going on. I can tell you, I've been teaching this for 12 years now, and many students have said, I cannot even get in the car without putting the radio on right away. I can't even, in the house, there's always got to be music on, or the TV's got to be on, you know. So there is a tendency for us to not want to be in silence. And I would just encourage people to start practicing silence. So if you are more inclined to put the music on in the background when you meditate, I would suggest that when you get into your car, maybe not turn the radio on. Just try to experiment without having any sound around, and just have just the silence. So, and I can tell you, some people have come back to me and say, wow, that was a really powerful experience. I never realized I had to deal with me. I wasn't singing the songs. It was just the stuff that was going on in my head, right? So a lot, it can be a little bit of a wake-up call. So I'm just going to say, we're going to be practicing today. We're going to be practicing in silence for that reason. And also with silence, and I'm only really touching the surface of these three areas again for time's sake, right? Silence is very active. You know, we think sometimes that silence, there's nothing going on, but to really get in touch with silence, you will notice it's very active. It's there's energy in it, and it is very, very healthy for our minds and our souls to be in that just quietness. Okay. So stillness is another one. It is hard to be still. And stillness actually helps us to relinquish control. And we struggle and resist just being nothing going on, right? We're Americans, for goodness sakes, right? We're in the act of doing all the time. Got one thing to do after another, right? So we have very little practice at just being still. And many people find it makes them crazy. That, like, I can't just sit still. You're telling me that you want me to sit for 20 minutes and do nothing? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm asking, right? And, but it's important. So it's important to practice stillness just because we don't have a lot of experience with it. We don't have a lot of experience with silence, and we don't have a lot of experience with stillness. So we have to practice. All right. So we have to practice those two elements. And the next would be the present moment. I don't think there's anything more powerful than living in the present moment. I am convinced that the present moment, what it brings for us is a taste of eternity. When we are so aligned with being right here, right now, not distracted by our past and not being distracted by our future, but just living in the very moment is extremely powerful. It's almost as if I really believe it's like dipping your toe into eternity, because God is in that stillness and he is in that present moment. You know, we're the ones that are everywhere else. we're either got our thoughts on what happened an hour ago, a day ago, 20 years ago, or we're like focused on what's the next thing I need to do, or starting to plan for some vacation some other time, whatever, the list goes on, right? But when we can still ourselves and have our attention in this very moment, that is a beautiful thing. So we don't do that. Nobody has told us that that's an important thing for us to do. So we have to practice it. We have to practice being in the present moment. And in this present moment, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect right now. It's beautiful. There's nothing, everything is just perfect. The mind is not giving us a hard time. Yeah, it's beautiful. So within the practice of Christian meditation, we have these other practices, right? So what we gain is the connection with our Lord in a way that is very intimate. But in order to discover him, to actually have a felt experience, and although there are people who don't have felt experiences, and that's okay too, because we know that he is with us always, right? But there is a tendency that for most of us, we will have a felt experience from our Lord while we are practicing. And we need that because meditating, we need a lot of motivation because we don't like to be in silence. We don't like to be still. And our minds have a way of just having their way with us, right? So we need to be motivated to sit, to be with our Lord, right? In the present moment. So I'm going to stop there for a minute just to see if there's any questions about what I've just shared.